First, we'll do a recap and then a pre-cap. So, a recap of what we have done already is number one, that is why SRE, why DevOps, why we are here, what is the problem that we are trying to solve in the industry. Okay, because we know what a developer is, um, we know what a developer is, we know what a testing team is, but it's sometimes difficult for us to understand and relate why this particular domain is actually there. What is their role? Okay, so that is something that we have discussed in the first class. Okay, now something, let me discuss about the second class. So in our second class, what we have discussed is that what is an infrastructure. Okay, what happened or what used to happen before an AWS or GCP or other cloud technologies. Okay, and how did it evolve from being a data center or a server based architecture where all the servers are kept and somebody used to go ahead and deploy everything there, okay, to this AWS architecture? What is the advantage that it brings? Okay, I'm not talking about AWS currently, I'm talking about all the cloud technologies. So let's start with so pre-cap for what we'll be doing in the upcoming session is, um, we'll be learning about cloud computing, cloud technologies. We'll also be learning like why it is there, what advantages it brings over a traditional data center. And second thing is we might create an AWS account and a simple server there. Okay, so in our previous class we discussed it in a very simplistic way, that what earlier it used to be like a data center, where a data center is where all of your servers are kept. Okay, consider it as a simple server room where big servers are kept. It will have all your you will be managing all the internet connectivity, electricity, NAT gateways, everything you will be only managing server in that server or server room. Now there are servers kept where all your services are deployed. Now what is a service? As we discussed in the last class, a domain, when you say google.com, it is actually a domain, okay, which is pointed to an IPv4. Okay, that IP is somewhere in the world, a public IP which is somewhere in the world. So as soon as you'll go ahead and click google.com, it is pointed to some IP which is a Google server where a code is running. Okay, you will, from domain to a server where a code is running, this code will process your request and send it back. Okay, very simple. So now this server where this code is running, okay, is your main server. Where server can be anything, it can be any machine, it can be it can be your Mac, it can be a Windows, it can be a Linux server, a machine, okay, which is a computer. Okay, it doesn't have to be a super computer, but these computers are of higher capacity than your and my computers. Why is it so? Is because if we'll give a very high traffic to your and my computers, they'll crash. Okay, so we need a higher capacity, okay, to be able to sustain those many requests. Okay, cool. So this is how it happens. Now in this is how it used to happen in the previous, when there was no cloud technologies. But building all of this, like building a server, getting a server, okay, installing a server, okay, managing its internet, managing its electricity, managing the switches, NAT, routers, everything, okay, and backup electricity is also backups also. Example, in one room, in in a building, in a room, you have kept all of your servers, every server, and for some reason there's an earthquake in that area, your business is down. Okay, imagine this happening to Facebook or Google. They'll be like, and to build that server again, to build that server room again, get everything backed up again, get all the data again, is going to be again a challenge. Okay, so which is why we have to plan some backups, disaster recovery plans, and all of that you will have to do. Now, for a company who is just starting, example, if we are starting our own company called mm, billbook.com, just taking an example. Okay, it's a small company. Now, sustaining all of these things and taking care of all of these things for them is going to be difficult. Okay, plus they'll have to invest a lot first in the servers, then in the engineers who will be managing those servers, designing those infrastructures, and keep a person 100% ready 24/7. Okay, who can take care of that. Then only you can maintain that 24/7 availability. Have you seen any big website like amazon.com or mintra.com going down like in a fling? No, right? Why so? Is because if it goes down for some reason, it becomes, first thing, whatever customers are coming in that time frame, okay, your website is going to lose them. Okay, example, now you go to amazon.com, I want to buy something, okay, and it's not working. There is a high probability that you go, if you are if you want it urgently, you might go to a competitor and buy it. You might go to a nearby vendor and buy it. You might go to a nearby mall and buy it, or you might just give up a plan. Okay, so there are like less chances for the customer to come back and buy the same product, or maybe they will lose uh, trust on that product. Okay, that's what happened with Paytm, right? People used to love Paytm so much, and now because of that one problem, they almost lost a lot of their business. Why? Is because when it comes to business, it is customers' trust that they are building. Okay, so if a customer doesn't trust them, we might not go ahead and spend money in there. Okay, if customers don't come and spend money there, it's going to be a problem for you and me, right? So 100% availability needs to be there, so all of this needs to be managed by you. This is where it becomes very difficult for a small company to start in that way. Okay, nowadays even big companies would like to go for cloud and cloud infrastructures, because they also don't want to invest a lot in these servers, because uh, getting a server, installing a server, getting that server ready takes a lot of time. It can take, for setting up one server, it can take 15 days to a month for one server capacity to increase. Example, tomorrow you have some sale, okay, and you are expecting a lot of people. Okay, so if in case you want to increase the capacity in a data center, you need to plan it before, like a month before, for this particular sale to be available now. And if in case during the sale that capacity also goes down, like that is also less, in that case, like you have a lot of crowd there. Okay, and that also capacity goes uh, less than expected, then it's going to be a big of a problem. You will not be able to handle all of that. You'll have to then tell your customers, please come later, or you have to postpone your sale. That's what happened with Flipkart once. Okay, if you remember, that's when Flipkart has to publish a public apology saying that, okay, we were not able to sustain the sale because of these reasons. Our server capacity wasn't enough. Okay, so they lost a lot of their customers, they lost their trust. Okay, they lost a lot of money there. Okay, which is why we are here to actually build something uh, sustainable, stable, consistent for them. Okay, now when it comes to these cloud providers, okay, what did they do? They understood this problem for every company. So they said, you don't have to do anything. Okay, you don't have to come and buy a server and keep it in a server room. You come and tell me that you need this much. I am going to virtually create it in my data center, give that access to you. You go ahead, deploy whatever you want to do there. We will not touch it. You will have to pay us some rent only for the time that you are using that resource. Okay, Do you understand this problem now? What is this? It's like you're moving in a different city and you want to like start quickly. So what will you do? You will start with a rented place. Okay, maybe later you would like to upgrade it to have your own place there, but for software engineers, when it comes to us, it like we would like to opt for having a rental apartment than a permanent apartment, because we don't know where we'll be. Like tomorrow there can be, like, we would like to move to a bigger city, we would like to move to a different country and all of that. So those restrictions are kind of something that we can overcome when we are doing a rented apartment. Plus we don't have to take an overhead of managing the like society deposits and all the land registration and all of those kind of stuffs. Okay, all the legal stuff is something that's managed by a person whose flat it is. You don't have to worry about it. You have to just go, shift in, take care of that flat, use it when it till when you want to use, and then just go. That's it. So you don't have an overhead there. That's what companies want. They don't want an overhead on their head saying that we'll have to manage the server room. Okay, we'll have to keep a person who will be managing the server room. We'll have to, in case required, upgrade the capacity later. Yeah, like put all of our resources here. Rather than that, it's better to have a cloud infrastructure. Let it upgrade whenever we need it, and let it come down whenever we need it. Okay, so if today I want to just spend 10 rupees, I'll just spend 10 rupees there. Okay, tomorrow if needed, I can go to or upgrade a plan for 20 servers, or 20 servers. Okay, and then anytime I can come back to 18 servers if I want to. So that's something, that liberty is not there in a server. You cannot just have 10 servers, upgrade it to 20 servers in a server room, and then go ahead and sell them later on. That doesn't happen. Okay, nobody is going to be buying those servers. Okay, so it's a permanent overhead and a permanent investment for a company. It's good in a perspective that you have already spent a lot in your server once. So it's upfront money that you'll be paying. Apart from that, you'll be just paying maintenance money. But to these companies, you will have to keep on paying them. Like if you have your server in cloud, you'll have to keep on paying them till the time you want your customers to keep on reaching you. Okay, am I making any sense? It's like upfront paying money for a flat. Okay, it's going to cost you more, but again that flat is going to become an asset to you and going to help you later. But when it comes to a rental flat, it's going to be like you'll be spending some money. Example, you have a rental flat of 30,000, so you are just spending that 30,000, which is allowing you to stay at that place. But that 30,000 rupees is just a like interest that you're paying. Okay, and till the time, once you've made your infrastructure in a cloud, till the time you want your company to run, you'll have to keep on paying them. Correct? Because pay as you go. Correct? So till the time you need it, you will have to keep on paying it, paying it, paying it, paying it, paying it. Okay, so why I am talking more about pricing and all of these good and bad pros and cons for cloud computing is because, okay, when it comes to uh, this cloud infrastructure, major challenge that a company faces is because it's easier to create servers there. So over provisioning and under usage is something that happens a lot. Okay, which means that you will provision 100 servers, you need only 50, and half of them are of no use, but company will still keep on paying them because they don't know that this much is free, we can use that rest of the capacity. So that kind of planning also is something that we will be taking care as a team, like DevOps team or an SRE team takes care. Any doubts still here? Any questions? Do you now understand what is the difference between a data center and like a cloud or a cloud computing kind of architecture? What is the pros and cons between both of them? This is completely yours. Data center is yours. You can do whatever you want to do. Okay. While this is not yours, it's something that's rented. So you'll have to keep on paying them till the time you want to use it. That's the whole funda of using it. Plus, at the same time, there is also one thing called as ease. Okay, I'll tell you more about these managed services in a minute. Before that, I would want to give you guys some seconds, some minutes to absorb whatever we have discussed, whatever I have said up till now, and ask me some questions if you have any. Okay, do you now understand what a cloud is? Cloud is not Badal. Okay, it's going to be it's like a company has its own data center, AWS, GCP. These people have their own data centers. All they tell you is, you tell us you need this, we will create something somewhere in some of our server. Okay, in some of our server, we'll create a virtual server for you and give you access. All you have to do is from your machine access that and use it till the time you want to use it. Okay, so it's not with you. Okay, you don't know where it is. They will not tell you where it is, what it is. They'll just tell you that it's there. Go ahead, access it, and that's all. Now, question arises that why would a company, if cloud computing is so good that it's giving you all the terms, technologies, everything you need, then why would a company now have a data center? They should shut down everything. Okay, so can you tell me why, security perspective of why it is better to have your own data center than of an AWS or a cloud provider? Okay, AWS, GCP, Azure Cloud, Ali Cloud, all of these are cloud providers. Yes, yes, guys. Any questions? Why do you think, what is more secure? A data center or a cloud? In our domain, thing that we have more control over, we can make it far more secure. Okay, which is why when you go to banks, okay, they would want to keep your personal data in their data center rather than keeping it on cloud. Because remember, even AWS is a data center. When you are giving your customers information or keeping your customers data information in somebody else's infrastructure, okay, you are in a way, if a hack happens, uh, if there is some violation there, they can also access your customers data. So which is why most of the banks, since data security is something that they're looking at, okay, they want to have their own data centers and keep their data in there. Okay, while rest of the services which doesn't have data or which doesn't store data is kept in a cloud environment. Cloud environment is good because you don't want to manage it, but since we are not able to manage it, we lose control. You don't have control of where, uh, like what you can just control which region it is created. Okay, you cannot control which server it is created. You cannot control where it is. You lose control when you're using managed services. In server, you can still get some access, but there is another concept in cloud computing, that is managed services, wherein, example, you need a data center, you need a database. All you tell them is, I need a database. They will go ahead, create a database and share an access to you now. But you don't get full control of that database. You will get, there will be some part that they might restrict for themselves or you to do, which is why, okay, let's take it this way. When you have like a bank, when you have to go to a bank and submit some money, okay, or deposit some money, what is, what do you trust the most? Yourself. You would like to go ahead and do it by yourself. When it is a check, okay, you understand that a check is written on somebody's name by somebody, so it's like Even if you give it to somebody else, they cannot go ahead and encash it. But when it is cash, somebody can just go ahead and run. Okay, put it in their account. What can you do with that? Nothing. So that's why your money you want to keep with you, go ahead and submit in person. So if when it is a lot of money, right, you want to do it by yourself, okay, or by just some trusted people. Okay, you will not go ahead and outsource that activity. Okay, example, um, same example of for money. When it comes to money, you will only give it to few people. Okay, closed people, that okay, keep this money with you. Whenever I'll need it, I'll take it. Okay, when you give it to bank become responsible. And bank, since it has a lot of RBI rules, restrictions, you trust that bank. Okay, if you don't trust the bank, you won't go ahead and deposit your money there. Okay, same way, your customer's information is your asset. Okay, which is why more and more secure you would like to keep it. You would like to keep your infrastructure more secure, because there are cases wherein hackers went into the database, cleared an entire database of a company, and asked for a compensation money. Pay me in these many bitcoins. These kind of crimes doesn't happen only for you, but also for companies. When it happens to a person, it can happen to a lakh, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 50 lakhs. But for a company, it can be crores, 2 crores, 3 crores, plus also 2 crores, 3 crores, 100 crores, any number. Okay, depending on the scale of the company. Plus also, your customer loses trust in you. That's what happened with Mark Zuckerberg when there was a data leak that happened and all of that. That kind of scenario happened, that he was called in um, US Senate, and he was asked a lot of questions, that what are the data that you're saving and all of that. You lose customers because of this. A person who understands all of this will not come to a company who's selling your own data. And today, since we are living in this generation, okay, data is everyone's asset. Okay, so use that wisely, which is why for security, since banks are highly secure systems, because they're dealing with finances, they're dealing with your money. Okay, so banks, financial institutions, they would want to keep your data in their data centers, while for computing, for capacity, servers, and all of that, they can still consume that, because for them slowness is okay. They are not any Amazon or Flipkart that they have to keep on doing some new features every time. Okay, they are managing your finance, so they have to keep it more and more secure. Okay, so they'll be more and more restricted, right? They don't want to do anything quickly. In banks, does it things don't happen quickly? Why? Because they're dealing with your money. One um, sign here and there, one problem here and there can make or break their reputation, right? So which is why always something that you have control over, I can control it. Okay, you can make it more secure. Okay, as in, consider yourself as a very good SRE who has been like working for years and years. Now tell me, would you like to go for a cloud, or you want to keep it on yourself? You would like to keep it with yourself, because when it comes to security, you believe in yourself that okay, I can keep it more secure than AWS people. I would like to keep my customers data with me, so that it can never be incorrectly used. Plus also, when it comes to finances, data, banks, there are specific other guidelines also that comes in whichever country you work in. Example, there are countries who doesn't allow data to go outside their country. Okay, example, Even China, if example you have a bank and you're in China also, they never allow their own country's data to go out. Okay, they track each and everything. Your government will track each and everything. It's not like India everywhere that okay, you do whatever you want to. In India also there are restrictions. Okay, but in other countries there are more restrictions. Okay, example, in Vietnam also you cannot take data out of the country. Okay, when it comes to finances, financial data, it cannot go out of the country. So when it has to stay in the country, it means either you will have to create it in cloud and in the same data center where of the country itself. If there is no data center in the country, okay, that means you will have to have your own server rooms where you are keeping the data. Because if you keep the data outside the country, it's not allowed. You cannot allow even processing of that data. Processing means some data will go, it will be processed, deleted. That is also in some countries not allowed for financial data, which makes it more restricted for us, but it's very secure and it's good for the citizens of the country. Okay, as in it's good for us also when our own country tries to impose some specific rules on some banks or some uh, this and that organizations. It is important as a customer for us to understand that it is done for us and our data. It is done to secure our data and make it less leakable. Okay, that's why even if you see, some days back there was a news that Aadhaar card's data was hacked and it was sold somewhere on dark web, wherein some customer was buying your Aadhaar card information and all of those information. He There was one organization that was managing, that was actually coordinating with that hacker and asked them to give some data. That data was actually right, and there was something happened that in that side also in our industry, in our software industry. So why is it more important to keep this data secure is because of all of this. Okay, data security. So that's why we try avoiding or giving this important responsibility to some other entity, and would like to keep it with ourselves only for security purposes. Okay, so this happens more with banks, financial institutions, rather than more of like e-commerce, gaming companies. They kind of don't want, they want more capacity, they want more compute, they want to be more faster rather than slow. So having a data center will slow you down, but you have to trade off between slow and secure. Okay, you can make your cloud environment also secure, but trade off is going to happen there. Okay, still some level of insecurity you'll have because you don't have the data, it's kept somewhere else in some other country, and some other with some other company, and it's your data, your customers data, so you won't be able to protect it that much. The more you can do, they won't be able to do it. Okay, because you understand your customer, they don't. uh, that's one thing that I was talking to you about. Then last thing that I want to discuss before moving ahead with creating an AWS like account is managed services. So when we say managed services, there are two things that a cloud provider gives you. One is simple server, go ahead, create a server and do whatever you want to do with that server. Second thing is I manage things for you. If you want a database, you don't want to manage it, because managing a database where data resides, okay, so data can be kept in two ways: in a database or in a flat file. We avoid using flat files because querying those flat files is difficult. In a file there is one line written, getting to that line in billions of data is going to be difficult. So we kind of index those files, keep those files in the data center, database. Okay, now When it comes to database, managing the database, you'll have to manage the database, you'll have to manage their backup, you will have to manage the disaster recovery plan, you'll have to manage the consistency and all of this. So managing all of this kind of becomes overwhelming sometimes, so which is why companies, instead of managing all of this, try to use something called as a managed service. Okay, database is just an example. There are other managed services also. Managed service means I manage it for you. I am a cloud provider. You tell me what you want. You want a database? I make a database. I give it to you. You put whatever you want to put in there. Whenever you want to use it till then, and use it with these configurations, or you can change some configurations here and there based on what you want to need. If you don't want to do replication, if you want to do some other like options, we will discuss all of those options, but there are certain options that you can set. Okay, and then I am going to give you a database, just put your data in there and start using it. I manage everything for you. Okay, so that is service. Okay, so database, so here we are using cloud and a managed service which is managed by the cloud provider himself and not us. Okay, so let me quickly share my screen. Let me know if you guys can see my screen here. And let me know if I'm going too quick. Okay. I'm trying to go as slow as I can for everyone to understand. But if you have any doubts, you can still ask me after this class. Okay. So example, now I want to create an account here. Okay. Now I already have an account. So I'll just go ahead and test it in incognito window. You will get something like create an AWS account here. Just click on this. You can give your email address. Example, I give my email address as this. I can give my account name as anything. I give my name here. It will verify my email address and a verification code will go to my email. Okay, I got the code for this one. So I tried another email address of mine and I got a code here. Let me. Now we'll give a root password. It can be anything we want. Okay, just follow some simple password guidelines as they have mentioned. This was step 1. Step 2 is to just identify whether you're creating it for a business or a person. If you're creating it for person, then I can just give my phone number, my country, some random address. It doesn't have to be very specific. Okay. Okay, I can just continue. It's going to ask for a 1 rupee payment. As soon as we'll do 1 rupee payment, it's going to go ahead and activate our profile. So it's very simple creating it. Neeraj, try creating it in some time once again. It will work. If it doesn't, so it's going to ask for a purchase. Then you can just go ahead, add your code, confirm. As soon as you'll confirm, it will go ahead and uh, like create an account for you. But it's going to only create a successful account till once you make a 1 rupee payment to them. Okay, this is just a confirmation thing. Okay, they do have some free tier quota, so we'll be doing all of our practices in free tier quota. Okay, and I would like to share something off the record as well. Any questions so far? We'll start with AWS services. We'll first go ahead and create a simple server. Let us log in there, and then we'll start understanding more about VPCs, about NATs, about internet gateways, and so on and so forth. So we'll make some architectures here. I'll also show you some diagrams, and we'll try to follow those diagrams here. Okay, and then going forward, we'll have some pair programming session. That's what's going to happen in the next session.